Hello everyone. Last time we talked about the war in Ashenvale, and you guys and girls wanted to finish up the saga of the bomb, so that is what we're going to do today. Filled up with delicious giant poop, it was transferred from Azshara to Ashenvale, and now it's ready for the final leg of its journey into the Stonetalon Mountains. This area is probably best known for the events in Warcraft 3, as this was the place where both Thrall and Jaina, they were told to take their people by a mysterious figure called the Oracle. The Oracle was actually the Guardian Medivh, who was trying to warn the world and get it ready for the threat of the Legion, in a cave that, for some reason, cannot be found within World of Warcraft. Thrall and Jaina, they met up and decided to work together.
Unite with them? Are you mad?
Their union would eventually lead to the defeat of Archimonde and the Legion, while Thrall, he decided to settle his people in Orgrimmar, while Jaina, she took her people to Fettermore. The area offered quite a hostile experience for adventurers that dared to venture into the zone, as the local wildlife, like spiders, harpies, wyverns, but also the Venture Company and the Grim Totem-Tauren, they were not too keen on visitors. Of course, the Alliance and the Horde didn't like each other much either, but with the Cataclysm, with Garrosh Hellscream now as Warchief of the Horde, the time has come to step up the campaign. The Horde is gonna march in there and do one thing and one thing only. We're going to kill Alliance. Okay, maybe two things. Kill Alliance and make sure that their new Goblin bomb, that it gets the Stonetalon in one piece, and then we use it to kill Alliance. We are in Hellscream's army now, following the orders of Overlord Krom'gar, personally appointed by Garrosh to take what we need. Gone are the days of our people starving in the streets of Orgrimmar as we sign treaties with the elves. Kalimdor belongs to the Horde, and no pig-licking alliance will stop us from expanding. It's a caravan that gives us a smooth ride into the mountains, but we'll have to earn our rank starting out as Krom'gar grunts. Meanwhile, the Alliance is still trying to deal with the Horde threat in Ashenvale. Silverwind Refuge must be reclaimed, but the Goblins, they're bombing the area and they're making it impossible to launch a counteroffensive. We take out their chief bomb engineer Sploder. Without him, they should fall back to being nice and lazy, have more accidents and less bombs dropped on our troops. But near Sploder, we uncover what the Horde has created. This is clearly the biggest explosive that we've ever laid our eyes upon. What in the world could the Goblins be thinking about bombing with such a monstrosity? It appears to have been built well, as it's impervious to any damage that we could do to it, and certainly way too big for us to carry out of there. Quickly, we rush back to figure out what to do. But it's already too late. The bomb is on the move into the mountains, and we have to quickly go after it. Easier said than done though, as the sky is dominated by the armored orcs on their armored wyverns. This makes it quite difficult for the Night Elf arrows to bring them down, and even if they do, the orcs just deploy their parachutes and continue their fights. Perhaps the gnomes' ingenious upgrades to our aerial defenses can help us out. We got some brand new sniper guns ready to be used, and when they say sniper guns, they actually mean freaking sniper cannons. With deadly precision, we reclaim the sky, and our hippogriffs will make sure to keep it safe. Garrosh has declared Kalimdor as the Horde's sovereign territory. All that would oppose the Horde, they're destroyed. We are Kalimdor's last line of defense. Should we fall, Kalimdor will also fall. So both the Alliance and the Horde, they make their way into Stonetalon Mountains, the next staging ground of their war. Talonly Pass, they used to be Talonly Path, but a bit of Goblin reconstruction, it blew it wide open. A nice location for a minefield. The Night Elves have been busy disarming them, so a good opportunity to prove ourselves by rearming them without blowing ourselves up. We also move out to check on Blashinier Fuzzwhistle, who was supposed to make sure that everything was going according to plan with the bomb at the Windshear Mine, but he hasn't reported back. For his sake, he better be dead. And of course he's dead. Thankfully, he was able to write a note, which we find in his hands. He was taken out by the Night Elves, led by a high elf huntress called Davinia. We claim some vengeance for the Goblin by taking out this strange high elf who seems to be more like a night elf, while also bringing back the intel that he wrote down. Turns out that the Alliance knows all about our little bomb, and they're planning an attack on Krom'gar Fortress. This is our main base of operations in the region. It's from there that Overlord Krom'gar oversees all Horde military activity, and he directly reports back to the War Chief. He must be informed and prepare for the attack. Surely, there's going to be a little bit of a promotion in it for us. When we travel to the fortress, we also make sure to take out any Darnassian assassins along the way. Kila Gorfang, the same orc that joined us during the Goblin starting experience. He's kind enough to lend us his infrared heat focus, given to him by a Goblin. With them, the Night Elves pop up out of the shadows. Easy pickings for our blades. Now it's at the Windshear Mine, where the Alliance is hiding in the shadows. They're keeping an eye on the bomb and noticing that the Horde is filling it up with ore from the mine. It seems like the massive explosive that they have right now, it's simply not good enough for them, as combined with the ore, it will make an even deadlier bomb than it already is. We go in and try to stop the operations. We take care of the overseers, but while doing so, we also find some extra intel, which makes it clear that they want to use their massive explosion to blow up Windshear Hold. This is really, really bad. We have to warn Lord Fellowmare at Windshear Hold, but by the time that we figure out what is going on, the bomb is already on the move. Quickly, we rush on to the rope ladder, something that the overseers can't really appreciate. But one by one, we kick them off, we kick them back to the ground, until we destroy the power coupling, causing a malfunction. The bomb is programmed in such situation to eject all unauthorized passengers and return to base. Now we have saved Windshear Hold for the moment, but the threat is far from over. We've only delayed the attack, as the bomb is now hanging around at Krom'gar Fortress, waiting for its next target. It's there, where the Horde reports back to Overlord Krom'gar, who's in the middle of addressing the troops. How is it possible that they still haven't taken Stonetalon Mountains? How has the Alliance been able to halt the Great Horde war machine? Has our war chief not made sure that our families no longer starve? Our loved ones live with shelters over their heads. We may walk the streets of Orgrimmar with pride, as under Hellscream's rule, we are the masters of our own destinies. From this day forth, failure is no longer an option. Now our intel, it earns us a little promotion from grunt to sergeant. While Krom'gar, he has a good idea on where the assault is going to come from, as Northwatch troops have set up camp within Windshear Valley. Northwatch Hold that can be found within the Southern Barrens, and has been quite a point of debate when it comes to Fedamar-Orgrimmar relationships. When they first set it up, some believed that they should give up Northwatch Hold, while others, they thought that they should move out further and claim more of the land. With the Cataclysm, we see them join the war against the Horde in Stonetalon, so we have to take action. It's Marshal Peltro that's leading them, so his head is going to roll, while our flamethrowers, they destroy their camp, giving us a little bit more time to prepare. The bomb is going to be made ready for transport, while we help out Chief Blasteneer Bombcuts with getting our air defenses operational. The thing that's holding her up is that she's been waiting on the right materials to get the job done. She sent out many troops into the deep reaches to get what she needs, but none of them have come back. They're dealing with raging earth elementals, which makes it a little bit difficult to pick up the supplies, while the peons, they're scared out of their minds. We take care of business, and not a moment too soon, as outside we can hear the gnome flying machines buzzing in the sky. We can't let them destroy the bomb and take us out with it, so one by one, the little pets get blown out of the sky.
They came from behind!
We save the base, which earns us a little promotion from Sergeant to Legionnaire, but the war is far from over. The village of Malaka'jin is trying to hold the line against the union of Alliance troops with the local Grim Totem Tauren. Those of you that read The Shattering, you might remember how Magatha Grim Totem betrayed the Horde, poisoned Garrosh's weapon, which then led to the death of Cairn, leader of the Tauren. The Grim Totem quickly led an assault on Thunderbluff, but Cairn's son Bane, he survived the attack, but he didn't exactly know who he could trust. Was Garrosh perhaps in on this betrayal? Who could tell at that point? So instead, they asked the aid of Fedamar, and Jaina Proudmoore decided to help them financially to retake his city. Now we see the Alliance working together with the Grim Totem, and there's only one way to turn the tide of battle. It's time for a little bit of voodoo.
You come get the voodoo.
With a heart from a cliffstormer, nearly hunted to extinction, the horns from the Stonetalon realms of the region, and resonite crystals from the Boulder Slide caverns, which Dr. Jinzil is able to make his voodoo enchantments. It's kind of funny that back in Classic, we were also sent out to gather resonite crystals, only then it was said to be connected to darkness. We used it to uncover an earthen that the kobolds had dug up, which the Tauren Morrogal, he saw as a massive threat. Not taking care of the earthen would mean the end of all of Stonetalon. But of course, that was way back in Classic, and now we know that the earthen, they're simply creations of the Titans, predecessors to the modern day dwarves. With our voodoo charm, we empower our forces, which gives them the strength that they need to take out the Grim Totem. But we also enslave and use a small army of kobolds to take out an army of Northwatch infantry. All of this earns us the rank of Champion of Krom'gar, but dire news have come in. Our scouts in Battlescarred Valley, they report that the Night Elves are preparing their own weapon of mass destruction, and they're hiding it within an ancient tree. They are never going to be given a chance to use the weapon against us. We're going to escort the bomb to the sludge works, refuel it there, and then fly it over to Cliffwalker Post to end the threat of the Alliance. While we're waiting for the goblins to fuel us up, we also help them out of a smelly situation. The Wyvern, they're considered sacred by the orcs in Tauren, so when they decided to build this station, they made sure not to cause them any harm. which means that the beasts, they're now pooping all over the place, so they have to die. Now seriously, Blizzard, I don't know who amongst you has this massive poop fetish, but you really don't have to put them in every single quest zone. It's just really not needed. Anyways, we clear out the Wyvern and the Alliance spies, the balloon is filled up, and we fly it over to Cliffwalker Post. General Gribo is already talking with High Chieftain Cliffwalker and his wife Masha. They don't believe that there's a weapon of mass destruction, no matter what the scouts might say. His kin has studied druidism at the Grove alongside the Night Elves for as long as he can remember. They're so convinced that their own son has been sent down to find the proof. So on the way, we take out a whole bunch of the Alliance in the battle scar as we try to track down Ortis. We do find a Tauren and a bunch of helpless young druids. They're slaughtered with their lifeless bodies on the floor. There are no signs of struggle. Bloody drag marks lead in from the doorway. But in his hands is something disturbing. A Krom'gar's general insignia. The High Chieftain. He can't believe that his boy, his sweet good boy, is gone. He would have never killed any of the young druids. They were his friends after all. It was the general who did this. The general who lost his insignia while murdering his child. Gribo is slain for his betrayal, but the Cliffwalkers, they're not exactly safe. Krom'gar will surely see this as reason, but perhaps we can make a difference. We've seen all that went down here. Perhaps he will listen to us as we are a champion in his army. All they want is to be left alone in peace. But back at Krom'gar's fortress, we try to explain the situation, but either we simply forgot to mention what exactly went down, or Krom'gar didn't listen. Either way, he is furious at the death of his general. This is high treason, and they will pay for this grievous error. We've done well to report this crime, so well in fact that we get to take Gribo's place as Krom'gar General. Together, we're going to end this nonsense as Cliffwalker Post is burning. Masha has already been slain, while Krom'gar will teach the chieftain what it means to be Horde. Meanwhile, the Alliance, they liberate Huntress Ileona and her squadron, who've uncovered what the Horde the next target is going to be. While they're busy refueling at the Sludge Works, we do some damage to the Goblin operations, and we also find a logbook which describes their plans to test the bomb at Thal'darah Grove. It's only a school for young druids, located in the heart of Battle-Scarred Valley. There is no weapon of mass destruction, only poor, defenseless young students that are now stranded in the valley. With Master Thal'darah's hippogriff, we try to save as many as we can. On its wings, we fly back and forth. Every minute counts, but while we make one last descent to check if anyone was left behind, it's already too late.
Watch now, Cliffwalker, as this battle comes to its glorious conclusion.
You are about to cross a terrible threshold, Krom'gar. May the Earth Mother have mercy on your soul.
Look upon the world, Cliffwalker, and see the might of the Horde!
What have you done, Krom'gar?
War Chief! I was carrying out your command!
My command? Was my command to murder innocents, Krom'gar?
War Chief! Sir,
Am I a murderer, Krom'gar?
No! War Chief!
Then I ask you again, what have you done? I sent you into Stonetalon Mountains with an army. Your orders were to secure this land for the Horde. Instead, you laid waste to the land, murdered innocents, children even. I spent a very long time in Northrend, Krom'gar. I learned much about the Horde in that time. While there, a wise old war hero told me something that I would carry with me forever. Honor, Krom'gar. No matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. Overlord Krom'gar, you have disgraced the Horde. You have brought shame to us as a people. By my right as war chief, I hereby relieve you of duty. You are dismissed. And you...
Wait, War Chief, please. This is the hero responsible for uncovering this corruption. This one tried to stop Krom'gar. Have mercy, War Chief.
Mercy? Your wife and child were murdered. Your kin wiped out. Your home burned to the ground. Mercy. Chieftain, on this day, I learn from you. Krom'gar's army is no more. Your rank no longer has meaning. If you wish to truly help the Horde, your considerable power could be used in Desolis or in the Southern Barrens. The choice is yours to make. Let honor guide you. Do not forget that Hellscream's eyes are always upon you.
And that is what it means to be Hordes. Honor, no matter how dire the battle, never forsake it. Oh, Garrosh, why did you have to change? Now hi, Chieftain Cliffwalker. He's going to put his beloved wife's body to rest, and then he goes to the bombing site and begin the process of regrowth. Perhaps one day, a new grove will bloom. A grove infused with the spirit of its child and the fallen Night Elf youths. The Alliance, they also witnessed the explosion. The grove is destroyed, and with it, their hopes and dreams. The Horde destroys, because they cannot comprehend beauty. They fear it, and that which they fear, they must destroy. Why else would they destroy Thal'darah Grove? But together, we will make them understand. They will know that what they do comes at a great cost. The Horde will pay for this atrocity. Hellscream must answer for this crime. The war in Stonetalon Mountains, that rages on to this very day. But that is the major storyline in the zone. The bomb has finally been used, and I think it's really cool to see that they actually stuck with one story and show both sides try to deal with it. There are a couple of more interesting things in the zone to mention. For example, there is the threat of the old gods, something also shown in Ashenvale. This again pops up in Stonetalon Mountains. We have tentacles, harbinger, and creatures falling to darkness. At Krom'gar's fortress, we have the Blood Elf child Clarissa, while the human child Alice is hanging out with Windshear Mine, but both of them are accompanied by a daddy or a big papa. Mr. D and Mr. P, they're sick though, so we reclaim the parts that have been stolen or lost, and then we use its destructive force to murder the opposite faction. For those of you that have played BioShock, you of course see the reference to the big daddies and little sisters from that game. As a reward for all the murder, we get some Bubbles' shockingly delicious ice cream. Again, Mr. Bubbles from BioShock. The cataclysm that has changed the land quite a bit, as from Farwatcher's Glen, we can see the charred field covered in hot lava. This made the area quite a nice home for Thal'darah and her black dragons, which of course the forces at the Glen, they can't really appreciate. We take care of the raging elementals, we destroy any black dragon eggs we can find, and we slay the whelplings to feed the hounds. Hierophant Malik, he is hanging out at Farwatcher's Glen, and while they've seen the terrible destruction of the bomb, they got nowhere to run. Perhaps even more dangerous is the gnome standing right next to him, Salisbury the Help, who has but one dream: he wants to become a worgen. He wants to be the very first Genomigan in the world, but Malik, he has already tried to explain time and time again that there's no possible way that he could transform him into a worgen. He refused to listen though, and has instead convinced himself that if he gains Malik's trust, he will let him in on the secret. Gnomes, they're very strange. Another thing that the Cataclysm caused, and the last thing that I want to mention today, that is the unearthing of a forgotten highborn city within the Stonetalon Mountains. Neophyte Starcrest and Arcanist Valdurian, they want to make use of this to study the history of their people. Relics must be obtained, while also putting the highborn ghosts to rest. To a simpleton, it might look like we're imprisoning the spirits, but no, we're saving them for valuable data. The Highborn, they were here before the War of the Ancients and the Sundering of the Land. As their spirits, they have conversations related to the past. They mentioned the well being sealed off from the rest of the people, so that Xavius and his followers, they could focus his powers better on the portal that they were trying to create. That portal to bring in the Legion. They also mentioned Xavius having a tower in Ashenvale, the promise of more power, the Legion and being turned into satyrs. Well, they think that Malfurion and his dirt-loving brothers, that they're quite mad. I'm not sure what exactly they mean by this, as I always thought that Malfurion was the first Night Elf Druid and didn't start to teach others the way of Druidism until after the War of the Ancients. They could of course mean something else with brothers, like creatures of the forest, but all the same, I did believe it was fun to point out. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, now we've covered the story within Stonetalon Mountains, time to pick a new direction. Would you like us to take the story into the Barrens and cover more of the war between the Alliance and the Horde? Or would you like me to cover a completely different zone? Let me know in the comments down below, and as always, thank you very much for watching everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos, leave a like if you enjoyed this one, and until next time guys, see ya!